Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. Hey everyone, it's a great day for a Pirate Broadcast, and we're going to be talking about sales today. David, good morning. How are you doing? Good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's good to meet you. Good to see you. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. And, you know, one of the things that I wanted to bring you on for is this thing that every business needs, and that's sales. And I want to kind of dive into the process of sales, whether it be, you know, building awareness, prospecting, lead generation, and actually converting contacts into contracts. So tell us who you are and what you're up to these days, so somebody has a way to get a hold of you and track you down.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for having me on. Hi, everyone. So my name's David, the Sales Angel. I'm a sales and business coach, and I'm based in the UK. I've got clients spread across 7 countries. And I'm a guy that gets brought in to help people get to the next level. For most businesses, as you quite rightly said, sales is a really important part. If you don't have sales, you've got a hobby, not a business, or you've got an absolute liability on your hands. So I help people from the space. Well, I've been in sales 20 years. So I've helped people from the startup entrepreneurial level, where the solopreneurs, where they need to be razor sharp, because if you're wearing many hats, you want to try and get one shot, one kill, not waste all your days being an ineffective salesperson. I work with the smaller businesses up to that sort of 2-3 million a year bracket, where they might be bringing in that first member of a team and they don't have the set processes and strategies to do that because they've been a standalone business. But I also have an online platform, which is a bolt-on legacy coaching program, which is used by large sales teams. For anyone who's ever had a sales team, it's like herding cats sometimes. They're mental. Like, they can be the best part of your business, but they've all got different experiences and personalities. And what we aim to be able to do is be able to come in, and I can't be in someone's business in America, for example, 24/7. So we have a fully interactive platform that bolts into their business, which means they can track, monitor, and train their team without costing the earth and without causing more headaches than it delivers. So now I spend a huge amount of time doing that.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, because large teams, you know, especially in new businesses, seldom have the processes in place to actually maneuver through that cat herding stage, right? Yep. So it's really important that someone like yourself grab a little bit of structure and mold the teams into success. So what is it that you like to start out with? Is it building a prospecting funnel and then growing on that, or is it more team-based activities?
I think one of the big differences between what I do and what I understand that most people do, I won't say no one else does it this way, because I haven't gone off and researched everyone. Most businesses, when they call someone in, they're normally calling someone in for a set problem or issue they have, right?
Right.
They want to put a plaster over a wound. They want to get a heal. The problem with a lot of sales teams, a lot of people have a sales team thinking they're a magical fix. I'm going to hire 3 salespeople and they're going to fill us with money. And then they interview people and they interview salespeople and they sound great, but then magically it just doesn't gel or something doesn't happen. So when I get brought into a business, I mean, I turn down about 35 to 40% of people that approach us. Now, that is not because I'm like, we don't want to use these people, because there's only certain people out there that are in a position where they will actually implement what we teach, because if they're not going to do that, it won't work. Certain people out there have a very low ticketed products. I'm not someone who's great with someone who's selling a $9.99 pen. I'm very much dealing with people that have high value products, that are used to doing high ticketed items, subscription-based products, outbound phone sales, face-to-face events, that type of thing. And the problem you've got with that stage is it's such a broad spectrum. So what we do initially is it's very much a deep dive. We personality test everyone. So, for example, if it's a team of 8 people, we get them all to do a DISC assessment, which breaks down the personality traits because most people have never done that. Then what we do is we look at where their immediate blind spots in the business. Between me and you, my big part of it is to prove and redeem the value that they've spent on us. So I then spend time going, okay, how can we find blind spots in the business now that will bring money in the door, right? Because if someone's paid me £10,000 and they've got a business where their deals are £5,000 at a 40% profit, it's very easy to then go in and go, okay, all we've got to do is go and find 5 deals, right? And we've covered it. So then we look in. Now, every business has blind spots. So selfishly from my side, we look for blind spots. Now, that will be a case of sitting down and going, okay, what do your team do now? How do they do it? Who's the best at it? Who's the worst at it? And then we look at, for the majority of people, their best salespeople are doing great, but there's normally something that we will utilize, like a halo product method that will increase their sales. Or the lower side, we have to get consistency coming in place because that's where the lower self-esteem, lower results are coming through, although they might be doing the reps. And then we find a consistent level between the two of what are we going to do now? And it also depends how long they want to work with me. I've got some people, they'll hire me for 4 months. So we have a 4-tiered system for each month. Others I'll work with for a year. And by the time I leave after a year, I make myself redundant. I make it where you don't need me anymore. So then you've got every SOP you possibly need. The team are trained up. Everything's in place. The team, the management team, everyone's in a place where they go, oh, we're going to miss him, but I don't know if we need you anymore. And that's really what the aim's to be. And if someone gives me £50,000, they make another 4 million. And then they're like, that was great. Goodbye. We get a great testimonial. We normally get referrals and we move forward.
Well, it's like mini coaching experiences. There are times where we need a little bit of coaching to get us over the bump, you know, to get us through the hard spot and understanding a new perspective. And then, you know, once you get that down, once you get your rhythm and your flow and things are moving forward, it's not necessarily something you need all the time. And that's the beauty of coaching.
Yes.
So massively. I want to break it down a little bit more for the pirate community and think about the considerations when we're starting a sales process, some of the building blocks. What can you help us out with on that end of the spectrum?
One of the big things if I walk into a business, within the first hour of listening to people, I will know normally that there's normally a big issue about the intention that people have got. Because it's so easy to turn around and go, yeah, I'm here to get sales. Great. But what's your intention at this now? Some companies have got a 1-call close. So they're getting a lead, they're calling up, they're trying to sell them at that point. Other people have got a 4-call close where they're doing an intro, they send them a bit of base information, they follow up, then they qualify, then they go for the close. And some businesses have got all of this going on. So they've got one guy who shoots from the hip and just does what he feels. So initially I go in and I look and go, okay, so what are you doing? What are you doing? 1 call, 2 call, 3 call, whatever. What I say to everyone, I don't care what your location is. Your location's your location. But if you call the Coast Guard to come and save you, right? You call the army in to come and save you and you give them the wrong location, they're going to bring the wrong tools. So I look to find what's the main issues they've got. And a lot of the time, salespeople have got a real mixed message. They're like, okay, if you can close them on that first call, close them. But if not, send them a brochure. But make sure you qualify them a bit and make sure you've got this question. So our intentions really got to be clear. So I normally look at things. Okay, so who are your buyers? What would be the best way for us to sell to them? How do we get clear intention? And then how can we reverse engineer that sale to be the most resistance-free, but also increase the flow as much as we can? So that intention's the first part. The second part is what people are actually saying. Because we can talk about the prep before the call, for example, getting your mindset right and practicing is good. But let's look for a minute. Let's imagine that they're already warmed up. They know their script, their conversation. They know where they want to go. They've got intention. A lot of people still, when they have intention, don't go off and actually do the steps in the right order. Now, if you phone my phone number, but you do the numbers the wrong way around, you're not coming through. And for a lot of people out there, they go, oh, well, I like to adapt it depending on where the person I'm talking to. But that's not what you're really trying to do. What we're trying to do is the least resistance way, right? So for a lot of people, we'll look at that and we'll go, okay, so if you want to adapt it, for example, to the personality type of the person you're talking to, show me how you identify a relationship bias. Show me how you're like, and every single salesperson, well, 90% of the time is like, oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, okay. So if you don't know how to be effective at identifying a buying type, let's stop freestyling. You're not a rapper. You're not Eminem, right? If you're not getting paid millions for freestyle rapping, let's build a structure behind it. Okay. And then we break it down. What's your intro? And they're like, okay, well, I normally say hi and go, no. Role play it as if it's a call. No salespeople like it, but it's really important to do. And then you're going, okay, so where does your intro start and finish? What information do we want out of it? What's the next stage? What's our next stage? How are we qualified? So then once you broke that first call down, we've got a real breakdown of where we're trying to go. You can find, again, those blind spots, and then we can tweak the engine on the little parts that we need. And then you do that at the next stage and the next stage and the next stage.
I love that. I want to give a shout out to some of the individuals, some of the pirates in the room. Yeah. I've been popping up here, but Vicky O'Neill, here we got Marsha in the room, Michael Baker, Marsha, Vicky O'Neill is in the house. And then,
hi, everyone.
Also Gabe, good morning, everyone. I love the everyone's here. Jeff Young in the house. Namaste. Mary Fain Brandt. Good morning. Still out for pizzas and beer. I know that. I just really love the community here. Elise, how are you doing, Elise? I hope your travels are well. Gertrude Chapman, thank you so much for being here, everyone. You know, David, this does not have to be, you're making it sound like it doesn't have to be as complicated as some people make it. You know, there's some challenging things, and I know that it's, you know, a lot of it has to do with consistency, tenacity, just showing up and doing the work, and a lot of us, you know, myself included, you know, it's really difficult to get started. It's
yes,
like, okay, I know I'm prospecting. I know I have to try something before I figure out what that something needs to end up being. So what kind of motivation, what kind of inspiration could we share? And
I love
say, you know, damn it, I just need to pick up the phone or send that email or follow up on that message. What is it that unlocks that key?
There's two short stories that I'll share with you. One of them comes from, I heard it on Joe Rogan first. And Joe Rogan says on there, imagine for a minute that the life of your dreams happens. Everything you ever wanted to achieve happens. And in the future, time travel's real. And they send a film crew back to secretly film you every single day through the struggle, through the processes, to record every way you react when you didn't get that deal, to see how hard you really worked, what you did in the morning. And from there, when you're waking up every day and you think, imagine if there was a film crew here right now filming me, what would I do? Someone's already told me that I made £100 million, whatever the number is. Yeah. I've got my global business and they've sent these people back. What would happen when you're doing that press up and you've got time? You'd push the other rep out. What did you do? How would you react when there's no one around and you put that phone down or someone hung up on you? You'd shake it off because you'd be like, no, I'm not letting these people see me fall. Because you would have 100% confidence it had happened because of the damn film crew there filming us. But that also means that we are reliant on someone else watching us to be at our best. We let ourselves down and we let ourselves off because it's easy. But here's the good thing. Every bit of objection we have, everything hurdle that's put in front of us now, the reason that is put in front of us is because at the top of the tree, we can only have a certain amount of wealth. At the top of your industry, there can only be a certain amount of success. That's just the way it goes. And all of these hurdles and roadblocks are there to test your merit, to test how bad you want it, to test if you are going to be a titan of your industry. And if you are not going to be, if you're going to be the best in your industry, you have to be the best at overcoming this. So we have to be the most accountable to where we're at. Now, this lets me on to the second part. And this is something which always sat with me. I went for a breakdown years ago, lost everything. My breakdown lasted like 2 years. And it was a fable that I heard, and I don't remember I heard it, but it goes something like this. You've got an old Indian grandfather and a grandson, and they're sat around the fire. And the grandson's talking about good and bad and right and wrong, and what makes someone good or what makes someone bad. And the granddad says to the grandson, he looks him in the eyes and he said, inside every single one of us, there's 2 wolves, and they're going to go to battle every single day. You've got a good wolf and you've got a bad wolf. And the grandson looks up at me and says, who's going to win? And he says, whichever one you feed. Now, here's the big thing. We have a choice which one of those wolves we feed every day. The good one, the positive one, the resilient one, right? Or the negative one, the skeptical one, the moaning one. Now, if you've been feeding that bad wolf for 20 years, if you go off now and feed the good wolf for a week, like everyone does at New Year, right? Feed the gym wolf for a week. They feed, right? They eat right. What happens? The bad wolf has got such inherent strength still left in it. You can starve that one for a while. It's still going to get a victory in. So every time we feed that bad wolf, we've got to feed the good wolf. Every time that we give in to a bit of negativity, every time we give into, we let ourselves off. We've got to then go off and feed that good wolf, double down. Because that's the only way we're going to break this habit. And if we've got a habit of procrastination, it is a habit. It's not a sentence, right? It's not a disability. It's not like being blind or deaf. It's something we have chose. Now, it might be hard to break that. But if you've got a life now, with all the stuff you have now, with procrastination, imagine what you could get if you got rid of procrastination. And that's just out there. So that's what I think.
I love that. I just want to give a shout out. Yeah. Admiral Russ sells good wolf food. Love you, Wendy. Thank you so much. She also said if everything was what was it she was saying? If everything I did was filmed, it would be a horror movie, maybe a slasher film. Oh, I love that. David, this is golden nuggets, because as much as we know what we need to do, and as much as we feel that we have the ability to do some things, there's always that little person on the shoulder, nagging at us, saying, oh, you don't have to do that. Go take a nap,
Yeah, you've done well. You deserve it. Go have a rest.
It's like, just take a break. You're okay. In fact, if you made 2 more calls a day, what would that look like in a year? If you outreached to, 5 people a week, what would that look like? And you have to start thinking those terms.
Yeah. 100%.
So what's a good strategy for a new business owner? Because there's a lot of transition in the world right now. And there's a lot of new businesses. We're not all building teams of salespeople. And
100%.
And I know that that's an area where you excel and your expertise is built on. However, there's a lot of individual workers, that are, getting displaced and looking to start their own business. So what's a process that we can actually use to start prospecting? What are some things that we can consider? And, is it just phone calls now? Is it email? Is it, outreach? I know I use a lot of LinkedIn, engagement, reaching out to people, making, I've done over 530 episodes of the Pirate Broadcast. I know a lot of people, but that doesn't always transition into prospecting
100%.
like I would like.
Yeah.
So what are my thoughts that I have to change in order to get this little guy off my shoulder and kick his butt out of here? So
here's the good news. The little guy is never going to disappear. But what you listen to, and
that's
every
the
time,
good news.
yeah, that's the good news. But accept it. If we can't change something, accept it and hear the difference. We have a choice for the way we hear the narrative. In every situation, there will always be something that pull you back. And the very same thing that we can use as an anchor, we can pick it up, grab it by the rope, swing it around our head, and use it as a grappling hook. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference between an anchor and a grappling hook is the way we use it. So if you've got something on your shoulder now and you go, do you know what? Every time I hear that voice, I'm going to do 10 more calls. And every time I hear that voice, that's a sign. It's a warning alarm. It's not something telling me to calm down. That's my mediocre alarm. That's my average alarm. Every time I hear that voice, that lets me know I'm about to hit the real zone where my excellence is at. When I hear that voice, that is the sign I'm leaving average behind.
I love that. Vicky O'Neill asks, what do you think the biggest reason is for people not taking action with a prospect?
I think, to be frank, it's rejection. People freak out at rejection and we see it's personal. And also, imagine you're a boxer and you don't like getting hit. There's a limitation how much of a boxer you're going to become. But what's the best way if you don't like getting hit as a boxer? You need to get them rounds in.
Yeah.
If you got tied to a pole as a boxer and people just stood there punching you for an hour, the way you would flinch would be very, very different. The problem is a lot of people are getting in the ring. Someone's thrown one punch at them. They're like, right, that'll do for today. I'll come back tomorrow. So
everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Mike Tyson, right?
Yeah.
And this is what happens. So as soon as we get to the stage that we get one punch come near us, we're like, right, okay, so I've made a good effort. The little monkey on the shoulder starts giving us some grief. We're like, yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, we did nearly get punched. Yeah, it's progression, right?
Yeah. Jeff Young says, I love the anchor analogy, especially on the pirate broadcast.
It's what we do. It's what we do. We aim to please. So
bring in the gold, David.
We aim to please. With a lot of the stuff out there now, imagine right now that you knew you wouldn't get any rejection. No one would hang up on you. No one would be rude. Everyone would be friendly. And that you would convert, if for every 50 people you call was going to be worth £1,000. But there was never going to be a bad call. You just had to dial 50 numbers. Some would answer. You'd have a friendly chat. But you'd make £1,000 or $1,000. So you could make a couple of $1,000 a day, right?
Yeah.
Everyone would be pretty happy. What? All I've got to do is pick up the phone, talk to the other person. I don't need to sell them. Don't need to get rejected. There'll be no mean people there being horrible to me. Don't want to be in a bad mood. We'd all do that, right? 100 calls a day. I could earn up to $730,000 a year. Amazing stuff.
Yeah. Easy.
Right. If it was going to be that easy, everyone would be doing this job. Everyone would have their small business. Everyone out there wouldn't have a small business. They would have a Tesla because they would just employ 1 million people to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
What we want and the way we want it doesn't matter. When we're looking to go out and set up a business, this is why your goals, your dreams, your plan can't just be an average plan because you're going to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put in the work. Think about like this. Imagine whatever business we're talking about now. How many of those same businesses have gone out of business in the last 5 years? And this isn't to be horrible, just a fact.
Yeah, it's just just the way it is.
Yeah, they all had the best intention. They all had the belief. They all had the desire. They all had a family behind them.
Vicky O'Neill says, getting energized by rejection should really be the first checkbox for anyone wanting to be in sales. It happens and there's no way around it.
Embrace it. Run at it.
Yeah.
Run straight at. I'll go to people now. And we said earlier about the conversation and the narrative. Change the conversation. Imagine we say to you now, all I want you to do is go out and get 50 no's today. Just get 50 people to say no. And you're like, all right. I'll give you 100 grand a year. All I want you to do is phone these people up, get 50 no's. The next day you come in, right, I've got 50 no's yesterday. What now? Cool. Can you get 49 no's today? Sounds easy enough, right? Because we're aiming for no's. And then 48 no's, and then 47. And suddenly we're getting a yes here. Everyone's hunting for the yes, and they're seeing a no as a yardstick of failure. It's not. The idea of a no, it's giving you clarity that this person isn't for me. And also, a lot of the time, we don't know what to say when someone says no. I'm at this stage now. So on Clubhouse, but I'll go into real estate rooms. I don't sell real estate, and I think it's hilarious. They'll have role play pitch rooms where there'll be 280 people on this stage. I'll go in. My brand's the Sales Angels. Just straight away, people will get me up on stage. And I'm like, here's the Sales Angel. Let's see what he can do. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it. I said, before we start, just to let you know, I don't sell real estate. So what are we doing? And they'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll be like, are you in the UK? I'll be like, yeah, okay. So now I'm selling real estate in the US in a role play room with 280 people. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to do for sale by owner. I was like, okay, so I've never done this. So I've got no idea what we're going to do. But just tell me what my goal is. And they're like, all you've got to do is pretend you're cold calling someone and you've just got to get them to agree to an appointment. I'm like, is that it? And they're like, yeah, it's not that easy, Dave. I went, all right, cool. In my head, I'm thinking, I haven't even got to get any money on this call. All I'm trying to do on this role play is get someone to let me have an appointment. But because that's what they're doing every day, they see that as the yardstick. They see that as the hard part. For me, I'm like, all I've got to do is do. And the guy said to me, I'm going to be the seller and I'm not going to go easy on you, Dave. I'm like, cool. What's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, we've had a fake phone call and 280 people don't like me. Best case scenario, I blow everyone out the water and 280 people turn around to me and they're like, crap, this guy's amazing. But we've got to be in it to win it. And when we run towards objections, when we run towards hurdles, when we know what we can do, when we know how to handle objections, when we know how to identify the difference between someone who's a real prospect and a suspect, when that's unconsciously competent, it doesn't concern us anymore. A lot of people are just so early in the stage.
Yeah. I love this. I love this. David, this has been tremendous. I love the fact that you joined us today. We were able to connect, even though email wasn't so kind to us as the process. and we didn't allow the little guy on the shoulder to kick us out of off track, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I really look forward to future conversations. Now that you're a pirate, come back, join us, share the knowledge, and make sure that everybody's informed, educated, inspired about the sales process. Because, as you know, we all have something great in us, and we all have something that we can contribute to the community, and it all helps when we're working together. So, Jeff Young, Vicky says, it was the first thing that came up when he said he had to present on a stage. It's like, sell me that pen, right?
It's a classic.
Yes, it's a classic. I love the fact that we could talk about sales this way, and hopefully somebody found value, or somebody in the future finds value of this.
I hope so. Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, everyone. And as you know, the Pirate Broadcast is here to help you in your business. And also the Pirate Syndicate. Go check out the Pirate Syndicate. I'm producing shows for other people. I'm helping producers learn how to produce shows. And all of these things will assist you and support you in your journey. And talking to people like David are going to do nothing but help. And so we do this because kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And we want you to enjoy your day. Thanks, everyone. Like, follow, and subscribe, and all that social shenanigans. Smash that like button. All right? Don't go away, Dave. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate.